Welcome back to the ProSource Podcast. I am Molly, and today I am sitting here with Amy Tucker, Director of Hard Surface for DH Floors, the Dixie Group. Do you have a preference on which one we use?
I like to say the Dixie Group because we're a family of brands, and so that just
Yes.
encompasses everything.
And I think that's actually a perfect place to start too, because I'm sure people get confused with that, and you probably get that question all the time. So the overarching, the top is the Dixie Group, and then
That's right.
branching out of that is the family of brands like you
That's
talked about.
correct. So just the Dixie Group, and then of course on the carpet side we have Fabrica, Maslin, DH Floors, and then for hard surface we have TRUCOR, which is all of our resilient flooring and laminate. Our hardwood falls up under the Fabrica brand. So kind of just think of it as an umbrella or tree with our brands underneath, all one
Yes.
family.
Yes, that's like perfectly explains it too. And I know today we're talking specifically about hard surface as your director of hard surface, and we're going to be speaking specifically about TRUCOR and Fabrica. But first, I wanted to ask you how you got your career started in this industry. I think that's always interesting to hear about because everyone's answer is like completely different. And I also feel like maybe yours is different, but I feel like once you enter this industry, it's like lifelong. Is that how it was for you?
It's like, well, in fact, I have been in it my entire life. I actually grew up in flooring. My family owned a carpet mill for 30 years, 30 plus years. So I literally, as a kid, would ride my bike around the plant as we were making carpet. And
Wow.
ironically, I would say, I'm never going to work in carpet. And
Yeah.
that's all I've done since I graduated from school. So literally grew up in the carpet business. So my first love, of course, is on the carpet side. And then probably in 2010 or so, I went to work for a company called IVC, which some of you out there may remember. We made sheet vinyl, and then we transitioned and made also LVT. So I learned a ton when I was there. Had some great people around me, learned it from literally every aspect of the business. And that's kind of where I kind of gravitated or leaned to hard surface. But yeah, literally my whole life.
Yeah, you were like born into this from what it
Born
seems
into
like.
it, in
Meant
fact.
to
Yep.
be here.
Yep.
That's awesome. And you've
Yeah.
been with the Dixie Group, I know, during a time of incredible product innovation. How would you describe the company's approach to blending design, performance, and technology across all those family of brands?
I think it's important for us, especially in hard surface, just to do what we know to do well and to get really, we've kind of over the last year or two, we've sort of have a different approach or different go to market strategy where instead of trying to be everything for everyone on the hard surface side, we really are kind of honing in on where we can be different and how we can elevate retailers out there with the best products and performance in our portfolio. And so just kind of narrowing our focus so we can go narrow and deep on the things that we believe in, we invest in, we love. So that's kind of been our different approach, but also making sure that the products we introduce and have an offering on, we know a lot about, we price well, we buy it well, and we make sure that we're checking that box every time on style and design.
Perfect. And I want us to first talk about TRUCOR
Mm-hmm.
before we get into Fabrica. But the TRUCOR line has become a standout name in a luxury vinyl flooring. And for anyone listening that might be unfamiliar with what TRUCOR is or the brand, why do you think TRUCOR is different from other LVP or LVT options in the market?
Well, thinking about TRUCOR and as it is a part of the Dixie Group, everyone I think out there, Fabrica and Maslin, those brands have been around for a long time. And so retailers are very familiar with those brands. TRUCOR, it's the same thing. It's a trusted brand. We are focused on style and design and really kind of saying, I call it above the fold. So there's a lot of hard surface out there. There's a lot of competitors, especially with LVT. And so our mission or our value is to really stay above the fold, stay above all of the things that are happening with price wars and things. Maybe products that are not necessarily tested and true that people are kind of trying out. Our go forward, our strategy is to stay kind of elevated from that. We focus on better end goods. We focus on style and design, of course, and making sure that we are tapped into things like what is paint markets doing, what are furniture markets doing, so that we stay ahead of those trends, not only on top of the trend, but ahead and helping retailers kind of see around the corner with how those things are. And really better products, just nicer looking, more elevated look and design. I mean, for LVT, people are looking for the real thing. They're looking for what looks real. And
Yeah.
so we're not too concerned about just making sure we have every single space covered with LVT. We're making sure that we have the right products that check those boxes for consumers as they shop.
Yes, and you actually just talked about it a little bit, is that, the TrueCore line is known for those realistic visuals and the durability, right? Can you share a bit more about the technology behind the product that supports those features that it has?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's about the details. I know it is in soft surface for sure, but it is in hard surface. It's not forgetting that the realistic visual things like, and it's really about consumer preference. Those things are subjective. Things like rolled bevels or ease rolled bevels, rolled edges that have been around for a minute. That's really a preference for certain consumers. Some consumers like painted bevel. So just making sure that we're tapped into whatever the latest and greatest is there. As technology evolves, those things are modified and tweaked to make the products look even more realistic. Matte finishes, embossed register, all of those things become important as you elevate that look and design. And so ensuring that across our portfolio, regardless of where, what collection you're choosing from, a lot of those elements are part of just how we go forward, just in general across the board.
Absolutely. And you mentioned also that it's important to have so many different options for the consumer because there's so many different preferences when it comes to hard flooring, right?
Yeah.
And what I just wanted to know out of curiosity, what are some of your favorite current styles and trends within the TrueCore collection?
Well, I'll tell you, this year we launched several products. One of our products we launched we call Prime X. It's a 12 millimeter product. It's got a good hand. It looks beautiful, but it's more about the color. People are buying what looks pretty. They're buying beautiful flooring, and then they want it to perform. So if we can check the box on, is it beautiful? Of course. Those warm tones that are coming back in, those traditional, I'm pretty traditional when it comes to that kind of thing. And I think consumers are in general, they're looking for things that go with everything in their home. And so they're picking things that go with some grays that may be waning, or go with some browns they still have in their cabinets, or all those soft kind of colors that we're seeing kind of a resurgence on. That is kind of what we flooded with this year. So those things, along with a premium product that's going to perform. So it's got to be beautiful, number one. And then second, close second, it's got to be easy to clean. So we're going to look at products that, of course, easy to clean. It's waterproof, kid proof, all the things. And then it's durable. And then lastly, we want to be easy to do business with. I think that's so important for not only our customers, but their customers, consumers coming in. How do we make it shoppable? How do we create destinations with our products that are easy to shop? It's easy to compare across visuals. It's easy to compare across price. And so rather than walking up and trying to decide, I don't know if I want laminate or LVT or what do I want? It's just about the look, and then very easy consumer friendly messaging that resonates with everyone. And that's kind of our simplified and amplified go forward strategy on TrueCore.
Absolutely. And I love that you brought up, wanting to make sure that it's an easy experience
Mm-hmm.
for not just pro sources working with the Dixie Group, but also our trade pro members and our clients, our homeowners that are coming in. When there's so many options,
Yes.
sometimes it might come down to, okay, well, what's going to check all these boxes, but also not be a headache
Yeah,
to look
for sure.
through and work with.
For sure.
So I love that you pointed that out because that's also one of our goals, right? With when
Mhm.
working with all the brands, is we want to make it as seamless and easy as possible for our members.
Absolutely.
So switching gears a little bit from TrueCore, I want to talk about Fabrica, but people might think of Fabrica as, luxury carpet and rugs, which it is, but also the hardwood line is equally impressive. What defines a Fabrica hardwood floor to you?
So to me, it's about, again, that elevated experience. It's about not only making sure that we, again, have those designs and colors that are trend forward, it's things that are core and things that kind of stretch around the corner a little bit to make sure we're on top of the trend. But it's also about that quality, trusted partner. So Fabrica has been around for a long time. And so for hardwood, we want to also make our customers feel like we've got you. It, trusted. We're very particular about the vendors that we partner with, our supply partners. And so we're looking at the details from those partners, not only what the product is, but how it's made. How does it get to us? How are we protecting that when it comes in the door? So, and looking at the details within those products, that it's all the details. And so, again, making sure that Fabrica, our minimum spec on Fabrica now is a 3 millimeter sawn face. We don't. That's where we start. And so, and that means something to our customers. It's like, what is this spec? But it's about having that performance driven product that also looks beautiful at the same time.
Talking about Fabrica, you just laid out a lot of great points. And I know a phrase that is often associated with Fabrica is quality without compromise. How does that philosophy come to life in the brand's craftsmanship and the materials that go into the hardwood or the
So
flooring?
it's really about not compromising a look and a performance on a price. I mean, we always are trying to buy the best and most efficient way we can so that we can offer the price to our customers, a really great selling price. But more importantly, on Fabrica, for sure, is making sure that we've got those products that are quality and they look beautiful, even if they're a little bit more expensive. And they are. I mean, and we know that, and we're not afraid to say that because we know that those products are trusted. They're bought with the best vision in mind. And so that comes across with the product that you're going to have to last. And people, when they invest in hardwood, those consumers are looking for products that last. They're investing. I mean, flooring is an investment,
Oh, yeah.
third only. So it's housing, it's cars, and it's flooring. And so if we keep that in mind with hardwood buyers, we want those quality products. And if someone is looking for hardwood and gets the beautiful floor they want that's going to last for as long as they have their home for their life, they're going to be okay with paying a little bit more for products that they can trust. And that's really what Fabrica brings to the table.
Gotcha. And that kind of goes into my next question because I know under the Dixie Group there's a family of brands, and maybe this is another question, but like the brands competing with each other or just making sure that they have their own space and purpose. How does TRUCOR and Fabrica, like, how do they complement each other? And can you maybe simplify what their purposes is for both
For
of those
sure.
brands?
And I think it's important that we keep in mind, and we do, that everything needs a reason for being. So as we invest in these products and as we create the collections for our customers and for ProSource, that we keep in mind, what is the reason that someone would need that on their floor? What is the reason they would need these TRUCOR products on their floor? And so rather than just having products thrown out there in a non-strategic way, we really think about where is the place, where does everything fit in the portfolio to amplify not only our business but that of our customers. And so Fabrica kind of owns this very high end quality hardwood, and that's the hardwood we have is under the Fabrica umbrella. And then for TRUCOR, that is more that's luxury vinyl and laminate. So everything else that is not hardwood goes up under TRUCOR, and so that's all of our LVT and all of that. So and there's a place for that. Those are different consumers. A wood
Yes.
consumer is different than a resilient consumer, and so making sure that we understand those consumers and the target consumers for each of those collections. And there's a reason for being, again, for those products and those price points and those looks and feels.
Absolutely. And I think that simplifies it very well for anyone that is listening and our Trade Pro members that might be listening or even homeowners. I think, if your client wants hardwood, look at Fabrica. If they're looking for, LVP, then TRUCOR is your option.
Right.
Are there any other ways that both of these brands can support the needs specifically for our Trade Pro members? So I'm thinking of remodelers, designers, and builders that are working on real world projects. I guess how, or if you have any like tips on inserting these two brands into that conversation with their client.
For sure. I think it's about what look goes with what they're going for. Number one, that's what people are going to look at. And then where's their budget? Because that does make a difference. If the budget is for hardwood, Fabrica is the perfect way to go. If the budget is not quite for Fabrica, it doesn't really fit that, then you can transition down to TRUCOR. But there are still beautiful products in TRUCOR. Or maybe someone has 3 kids and 2 dogs, and they're looking for something that it doesn't, they can put it in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you're going to suggest TRUCOR. So I think it's about, first of all, figuring out what look they're going for and then what they expect from the flooring. And then talking about expectations there. So, again, if someone like, tell me about, this is for every salesperson, and for these trade professionals that are kind of putting flooring in remodels and that kind of thing, finding out what the expectation is for that client or that consumer. What do you want it to look like? What is it going with? Or and additionally, I should say, is what do you expect from the flooring? Tell me about your life. Tell me about your daily life. What comes across your floor? If it's 2 people and they're we don't have any kids, or all our kids are grown, all of our pets, we don't have any pets, we have a fish, whatever. Okay, maybe hardwood's perfect for them. Or someone is like, I don't really care about all that. I just want it to look great. So it's about qualifying the consumer, first of all, so that the flooring that matches with them is the perfect choice.
Yes. And I think that is a perfect tip on where to start if even if someone is a new trade pro too, right? And they're trying to navigate that world. I would think someone that's pretty seasoned probably knows some of that. But I think that's always just a good rule and like best practice to start there. What are their needs? Like you said, some people do not care to invest a bunch of money into making sure that it's pure hardwood. That's probably would be
Yeah.
me. I am not like super, I'm like, what can I get the most bang for my buck, right?
Exactly. You're going for a look and you're like, what can I get for this that looks like what I want and it's going to perform?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly
Easy
right.
to clean. If
Easy
you
to
have
clean. I'm not
pets,
spending Saturday cleaning it. Yeah,
yes. But some people really cannot move away from having that actual hardwood that it's just a staple, right? People that probably don't have puppies and have a
that's
lot of
right.
spills.
Different consumer.
Different
Different
consumer.
consumer. Yep.
Could you speak a little bit more about the ProSource and Dixie Group partnership? I know you've been in the industry a long time, but how do you feel like the partnership helps bring these products to more trade pros and homeowners?
So I think the relationship, of course, it's very important to us. We value that relationship, of course, but it's really about communication between the two. I want to always listen to our customers. I think that's one thing we do well here at the Dixie Group is we have talk meetings. Call me anytime. Let's talk about what you're looking for, what you need, and really taking that endpoint and crafting things for them. So, creating products that fill gaps and needs and listening there. So, again, rather than just launching products that we think are fantastic, we take advice and we take kind of ownership. We share ownership and making sure that those things work well and for ProSource and for their customers. So, it's about listening to make those decisions, and together we can elevate what happens there and what goes forward with their clients. So um, those are things that we do daily. We do that biannually. Every time we get an opportunity, we're always happy. And I think our salespeople that are out calling on our ProSource dealers, um, really they're our face and ears on the street and eyes on the street. So and that often gets back to me every day. So
Yeah.
as they're talking to customers, giving them that feedback and saying, you need to go tell Amy this. We're happy to have that. That's how we build greater relationships and better product portfolios to go forward.
Absolutely. And even like this podcast, bringing that product knowledge to our trade pro audience and homeowners, I think is super beneficial too, because if you know the ins and outs of brands and products, you're more inclined to be better at selling them or providing that
Yes.
feedback to your clients,
Yeah,
and just letting them know too. So it's all like just stages of sharing information and passing information down. And
for
this
sure.
is a perfect way to just directly tell our audience, like, these are what these brands are, and this is what you can tell your clients about, the Fabrica hardwood and a TRUCOR
Absolutely.
flooring. Before we get off, I wanted to ask what is next for the Dixie Group, specifically for the hard surface category that you oversee. And are there any innovations or product expansions that you're excited about going into 2026?
We do have a few product expansions that we're looking at. So we have a few, and primarily in WPC. I mean, that is a category for us that we're really kind of diving into even more than we are today. And so expanding some of those lines, maybe into some things like 5 millimeter loose lay that is becoming more and more popular. Not only for commercial spaces, but also residential. So, kind of dipping our toe in that as well. And of course, in our hardwood collection, just expanding that. Maybe some new color lines. Again, we want to make sure with hard surface that we're staying kind of on the edge of trends. We're not only having options that are happening now, but also things that are seeing around the corner. So look for some of those coming up at shows in the winter. Just expansion of some of our WPC lines, our few new options, and then some hardwood as well.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on today, Amy. I think this was a great episode, a lot of knowledge in here. And I just appreciate you coming on and sharing your wisdom
Absolutely.
about the
Thank you so
brands.
much for having me. It's been good.
Thank you for joining us today on the ProSource Podcast. Please like and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcast. Also, follow us on social media, check out our website at ProSourceWholesale.com, and visit your local ProSource Wholesale showroom for all of your home remodeling needs.